We're going to explain how to use a variable as a list index. This is a fundamental concept in programming that lets you access elements within a list dynamically. Instead of hard-coding the index, like my list, you use a variable that holds the index value. This makes your code more flexible and reusable. 1. Understanding list indexing. Lists in programming, like Python, JavaScript, or many others, are ordered collections of items. Each item has a position, or index, starting from 0. So, in the list my list ikaw apple, banana, cherry, apple is at index 0, banana at index 1, and cherry at index 2. 2. Using a variable as the index. To use a variable as an index, you simply assign a numerical value to a variable, and then use that variable within the square brackets to access the list element. For example, Python my list equals some apple and banana, cherry. Index equal 1 fruit equals my list index. Fruit will now be banana print fruit, and output, banana. Here, the variable index holds the value 1, which is then used to access the element at index 1 of my list. 3. Dynamic index values. The power of this technique lies in its ability to handle dynamic index values. You can calculate the index based on user input, loop through the list, or derive it from other variables or computations. Python my list equal my apple, banana, cherry, date, user input equals int, input, enter an index, 0, 3, get index from user try, print f. The fruit at index, a user input, is my list user input. Accept index error, print index out of range. Handle errors. This example gets an index from the user and accesses the corresponding fruit. Importantly, it includes error handling using a try-except block to catch index error if the user enters an invalid index. 4. Looping with indices. Using variables as indices is particularly useful when looping through lists. You can iterate using a for loop and the loop variable as your index. Python my list equals apple, banana, cherry for I in range, len my list. Print f fruit at index I, my list I. This code iterates through the list using range len my list, which generates a sequence of numbers from 0 up to, but not including, the length of the list. The loop variable I is used as the index to access each element. 5. Beyond simple numbers. While we've focused on integer indices, in more advanced scenarios, you can sometimes use variables that evaluate to numbers in other ways, e.g., the result of a calculation or a value from a dictionary. However, the fundamental principle remains the same. The variable provides the index to access a list element. Always be mindful of potential index error exceptions, and include error handling to make your code robust. In summary, using a variable as a list index allows dynamic access to list elements, increasing the flexibility and power of your programs. Remember to handle potential errors for robust code. This technique is essential for a wide array of programming tasks, from processing user input to complex algorithms working with lists.